Hi guys, good to see you all. Nick, who am I? Oh, for crying out loud. I don't know who you are today, my friend. Who are you today?
Funny you should say that, but for the first time ever, I thought I'd just come as myself.
Right.
We'd rather you didn't.
Yeah,
I think we like the personalities.
yeah. It was starting to get the better of me, so I thought I better just come as myself for a change.
I know. Just for you all out there, you might see us week in, week out, the banter that I have with this guy here. But let me tell you something. We both support rival teams, but we have one thing in common. We are like as close as peas in the pod, right?
Absolutely.
So whenever you see anything, don't say don't be cruel to him because he's just as cruel to me, right? So just let you know that.
And we both don't like Liverpool, or at least one of us.
Oh, well. Yeah. About it.
Yeah.
We're talking about that. We are still missing the Amigo.
Yes.
So hopefully he will be with us next week if all goes well. We do wish him a speedy recovery. And like I said, we're a quartet. And the banter is great. The comments are great. But there's always seems to be an element missing when one of us is not here. And right now it's him. So if you're listening, we do miss you. But obviously for the show, for other reasons, well, we don't miss you at all, my friend.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So getting moving on. A really good subject we're talking about today is personal development. Okay. And in today's changing world and in today's, how do I say, the amount of things that people are now finding being crushed, not knowing what to do next. The question is, how can I do something to help myself? How can I get myself out of maybe this situation, which I know Nick probably deals with people like this all the time. And personal development is something that, we talked about and we said this might be a good subject because this is something that we all need at some stage. So if you don't mind, I'd like to start off with Nick because I think you've got a little bit of qualification on this. So what's your take on, what would you say about personal development? What if somebody comes to you and asks you personal development, what kind of key things would you say to them?
Well, first of all, there's so many different aspects of personal. Are we talking about academically? Are we talking about physically? Are we talking about financially? What are we talking about with personal development? What area is it you're looking for? Or is it a holistic overall personal development? What is it? So say, for example, I'm quite an avid reader. So for me, it's interesting actually, because even in the work that I do, I take in a lot of information from books to help me understand and see different perspectives. And yet, when it comes to anything to do with financial or anything like that, like professionally to grow myself somewhat so I can earn more money, it's then how do I apply that? How do I apply that learning? So when I speak to you, Anthony, or I speak to Winston a lot, or I speak to Mike, and I hear these kind of gems that, oh, okay, this is great. I'm going to I've heard this, it makes sense, it fits, perfect, great. My kind of cutting point as an individual is how do I now apply that to better myself, whatever that means. So I was saying to Michael earlier, for me, the bottom line for personal development for me, I'm not saying that this is generalized for everybody else, was when I really understood what responsibility and accountability meant. Because then I can own everything what I'm doing. I can take responsibility for it, not start finger pointing and blaming others. That's a big personal development for me, was learning what that responsibility and accountability was. So if somebody come into me and said, I want to grow, I want to develop personally. Okay, in what area? What are we talking about here? Is it what is it? And that's the first thing to start fishing for me. what area are you talking about, and then we can kind of focus on that. And most people do find when they start focusing on that, actually it branches out into loads of other bits as well. So yeah, massively important to know exactly what area of personal development you're looking for first. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fascinating.
yeah.
Absolutely, it really does.
Mm.
Mike, what's your take as well?
Yeah, I think it's something that can cover, as Nick said, a multitude of areas. But I just like the fact that the first part of it, personal development, and it's about being about taking responsibility and accountable for myself. Where do I want to go? What are we talking about? If it's career wise, I mean, it's identifying, where am I? Where I'm at now. And trying to plot a route and navigate a route to something different, to create a new possibility for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because that old adage, if you continue to do the same things, you'll never ever get a different result. All right. So it's identifying what is the end goal. Where do I want to go with this, whatever the case might be, and then it's plotting that route to kind of achieve that objective. So we spoke about before, if I want to improve my finances, I want to go and speak to somebody or be around people that know more than myself. In a digital world now, you can go online, you can immerse yourself online, or you can read it, as the case may be, what Nick might do. So it is about self. It's about identifying where self is and where self wants to go, and putting together a bit of a plan, if you like, to be able to get the necessary skills, knowledge, and ability to kind of achieve that objective. So it could be around, as I said, knowledge. It could be about gaining new skills, but it's again, it's about that responsibility thing. Is somebody going to hand that to me? No, this is personal development. This is my development, and I need to take accountability for my own development. That's the way I kind of see it.
So Anthony, because I really appreciate, as I'm sure you do, Anthony, what Michael's just said, but I tell you one thing, what just listening to Mike then comes up for me is, I suppose if I was to encapsulate it, it's then self-awareness, right?
Yeah.
Self-awareness is self-development.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
If you're aware.
Well, I think
no. I'm saying if you're aware, because not everybody is aware.
No.
I want to be a millionaire and but what am I doing to improve my chances of becoming a millionaire?
No.
I think.
Yeah. Sorry, go on, Anthony. Sorry, bud.
I think on that point, I mean, I've been digging deep in this research on this, and as myself, the kind of profession I do, I have to be constantly aware of myself. I have to develop myself constantly. I have to keep learning.
Yeah.
Not just about what I do, but also the psychological benefits, all the things that encompass what I do as a role and how it affects other people. And I was thinking about what you just said. If you're not aware of your limitations, or if you're not aware of what you can accomplish, then you will be like a mouse on a wheel, going round and round and round.
Yeah.
And you're constantly thinking, but I'm not getting anywhere. Because sometimes you need to get off that wheel to have a look and see, hold on, that wheel's just going round and round and round and round. That's the reason why I'm not getting anywhere. Now I've come off that wheel, I can see things a little bit clearer. And I think it's like, just going back to something, it's all about you guys a bit today, which I'm quite happy about. It's like you guys went away, just recently. And you went off that wheel, didn't you? You went off that wheel and you had time to focus and think about life and all kinds of things because you weren't in that perpetual wheel going round, right? And sometimes it can be just going out for a walk, sitting down on a bench and just contemplating, thinking about stuff, and sometimes self-analysis is a big thing.
Yeah.
But something else I was thinking about very quickly, the benefits of that. Because for me, if I want to be a better friend for you, if I work on myself, imagine that I worked on my ability to acknowledge my health, all these kinds of things. What kind of a person am I now going to be around you? Because I'm going to encourage you, and I'm going to be a better friend because I'm being a lot more healthier. I'm being a lot more attuned to what life is about, what brings me. So I can bring that to the table. To me, that's what I think about personal development, how that personal development will affect others around me or loved ones or so forth. So on that point, going back to you again, Nick, do you see a benefit of personal development in regards to how it connects with other people?
It's really interesting you should talk in the way that, kind of how you're looking at it for that, because I think the side effect of personal development, the side effect of that, I wanted to curse you jokingly a minute ago, Anthony, and say, well, I can hurry up and be this better friend you're talking about. I've been asking Mike for years and it still ain't happening. But anyway, I just think when...
It's not going to happen.
No. I think when it comes to... If I become a better version of myself...
Praise the Lord.
Then without... We're not going there. Then without even trying... The hope would be that it benefits others. Absolutely. There definitely would be that. If I'm more... This self-awareness thing in self-development, this self-awareness thing is a huge thing for me, because all three of us sitting here and anybody listening to this is very aware that we've all got huge blind spots. We've all got elements of us that we have no idea about. There's parts of myself and my character that I know you two guys could point out and say, it kind of is a bit off key with that, or he's a bit great. Don't bite on that one, please, gents. He's a bit off key on that, or he's in this area is really good, whatever it may be. Once I've learnt those blind spots every day, so that's where this old cheesy stuff comes from, which is every day's a school day. Now, if I develop somewhat and become a more aware person, then maybe some of my defense mechanisms where you two might pull me for acting out of hand, where you two might pull me up on that, well, now I don't need to be as defensive, because actually these guys accept me warts and all, if you like. So that personal development will definitely have a ripple effect out to my friendship group, in the sense of I'm just going to be an easier character to be around. I'm not then going to force this on you guys to say, right, well, I turned 50 quid into 100 quid, so now why aren't you doing it? There's none of that going on. It's I've turned 50 quid into 100 quid, and gents, this is how I did it. Now, if you guys want to go and do that and try that, great. It's not a one size fits all. I understand that. But it's just, I think I've become an easier person. Easier as well for my better half, for Kwanyi. For my partner, the more I develop, the more I grow, the more I just become aware of self, the easier I believe I am to live with. Because I know I'm no day at the beach. I know that I'm hard work. But each day, you didn't... Who said, You don't need to agree with that, bro.
I was taking a drink.
He was sipping a cup of tea, mate. You sort your ears out.
So... So, so for me...
He says to cover up Michael.
So this is just a bit for me that, yes, if I become more aware, then that's it, job done. It's going to affect people around me. I'm going to be easier to travel with. When we just, as you pointed out, Mike, about me and Michael going away with a couple of others to Thailand, it was lovely. And I think if I was that uptight and unaware character, I know I'm going to be hard work.
Yeah.
You know? But so self-awareness is huge for me. This is massively important in this self-development. There's a couple of bits that I do want to bring to the table, but we're getting to it. So yeah, that's me on self-awareness.
Mike, what's your take on that as well?
Yeah, but I was thinking, that kind of transition and that development and evolution of self. If the people around you are not transitioning and evolving and going through not exactly the same, but particularly with the blind spots, if they have this similar blind spots to what you do potentially,
Mm-hmm.
you could end up, even in a relationship, you could end up being with friends of people that you hardly know anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also something to take into consideration. I mean, sometimes that evolution can create, for want of a better word, decisions within friendship groups and relationships.
See, can I just respond, Anthony? Do you mind? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
Okay, so Mike, just we're not going to go into depth on this, yeah, because we're going to be kind of careful on this bit. But you and I have fundamental beliefs about life in general that you and I don't see eye to eye on. Would that be fair to say? Right. Okay.
Accurate.
That enhances my relationship with you. For me, it doesn't cause an issue because you and I.
Because is that because we've got similar mindsets around points of difference? Let's say that we embrace points of difference.
Absolutely, but I heard when Anthony and I first started our relationship together, for example, one thing jumps out. I don't know if you remember saying this. One thing jumped out, which was, Nick, I want everybody to win.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
I'm going to be honest with you. If that's Anthony's mindset and that's how he truly feels, he can have more or less blind spots than me. But I know I'm now aware of Anthony's heart condition.
Yeah.
So for me, that's huge. I don't know where that's come from, that little thumb that's just
I don't know, but it's something.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
So that's the important part for me, Mike, is in that.
But is that almost like a utopia? That's because in reality that doesn't always happen, does it?
Not always, no.
No, I mean, and sometimes, particularly in relationships, when one person's going through this major change or evolution, personal development, and the other person isn't, you could end up potentially living in the house with a stranger.
Can I just interject on that? I mean, listening to what you guys are saying, I totally agree about the differences because they say opposites attract, right? Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah.
I think I'm not all the believer all this stuff. I just think you are who you are. You meet, you develop, whatever. But personal development, because, like I said, what I do, and also because I'm a trainer, so I train people in martial arts. So I see personal developments, and I see people coming very frail, very tentative, very sort of weak in nature, and then you see them grow, and all of a sudden they get confidence because they believe that what they're doing works. Or they start to do things and all of a sudden they realize they're getting stronger and they're getting that sort of feeling of maybe not the puffed up shoulders, but they feel like I'm not that same person anymore. But they've seen a journey and I remind them of that journey. I remind them because sometimes do you not think as well, it's good to have little reminders of remembering where you were before and knowing where you are now. Because that to me is when you look back and you think, I did that. And that's the personal development because that then tells you, if I can do that, where can I go next? How can I take and go back to what you said, that is my bit of my personality. If I can better myself to help my friends or anybody that I feel close to me, that is me. That's my personal development. Because for me, if I know there's something tomorrow that can help you, Nick, or help you, Michael, I don't give a damn. I'll go out of my way.
Yeah. That's
to
good.
make sure you get it and give you. And that's because maybe it's the teacher in me. I want you to understand it. But that's my personal development because I'm teaching, but I'm learning myself. So going back to what you guys said, because it's really, really interesting the way that you guys have kind of moved this on. But from a personal development, say in your work environment, okay, because we constantly can blame, the management not doing things, this not doing something, or we're not getting paid enough. And something I heard the other day, and I was listening to it, said it's not. Don't forget about what you're earning; it's forgot what you're becoming. It's what's coming in that company, what you're becoming in your kind of work you're doing. So if you take that, how do you view that? Do you view that, if understanding who you are in that sort of arena can help you to maybe make a better decision whether you should stay in that job, whether you should develop yourself or whatever. I mean, that could be in any content. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Kind of, but I'm not.
If not-
I'm trying to grab a question out of that, and I don't want to.
So what I'm saying is this, right? Sometimes we can be blaming, going back to yourself, we're blaming everything around us.
Mm-hmm.
We're pointing fingers everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes what you said, sometimes we need to be aware of what you do have
Yes.
and then focus on that and then build on that, not
Yes.
what you don't have.
Yes.
That's what I meant.
Okay.
Yeah,
Does
That's,
that make sense?
that
So
makes
how would
perfect
you,
sense.
how would you, what's your take on that?
So for me, this is about, and this is the thing now. When it comes to, say, for example, being grateful for where I am, what I've got, who I'm this being because of experiences, obviously, and included in those experiences is my work, my family, my friends, all of these close things. Now, I'm really fortunate to be working in an organization that genuinely, because I've worked in many different organizations of similar ilk, if you like, but I'm working in an organization that genuinely gives a bleep about people that we're working with and us as staff. The organization really cares. Now, I'm in there feeling grateful for being able to do my bit, if you like. I'm really grateful for that. Now, on the other side of that is when the electricity man phones and says, "Where's the money?" I say, "Well, I'm really grateful for where I'm working."
Yeah.
That don't cut it. So now, how do I go about, okay, I need to earn more. Now, again, I'm in a fortunate position in some ways that I've got work outside of that position that I can go and do to earn a few quid to help out along the way. So I'm really fortunate about that. Now, all of that personal development, if you like, has been happening over years and years and years. Now that I'm the age that I am now, this is just my main personal development now, Anthony, if I'm honest, is trying to get rid of as many of those blind spots as I carry, which I know, get rid of those and to continue learning from others. That's the personal development I'm on. Now, if that brings in an extra few bob, brilliant. But it's a real kind of contradiction because I want more money and yet that's not what I'm personally developing for. You know, and I haven't figured out what that's about yet. Honestly, I haven't figured out that's something I need to kind of work out. What's that about? So, yeah, I totally agree. And for me, it's the gratitude thing right now. I'm sitting here with two guys.
Do you think that could be comparisons because we do tend as humans to compare ourselves with other people.
Yeah, no, it's if I'm honest with you, I was just going to say, I'm sitting here with you two now. We've got the captain who's off ill right now. I know how blessed I am to have you three as compadres. I know how blessed I am with that. I'm not taking that for granted. And I genuinely am not taking that for granted. I've been on the phone to Skip most days, check in on him, how's he doing, if he needs anything. And I know I'm 2 hours up the road from him, but it's a set of wheels and a bit of petrol. I can be there. And I know that you guys would be the same. So all of these little things. Now, I've developed over time to become this person that I'm not blowing smoke up my own backside saying I'm this great guy. I'm not. I've got a lot to work on. But I'm clearly easy enough to be around that I've got blessed friends like you guys. And I'm not taking that for granted. So that's as far as I go with that, really. But if either of you want to give me a couple of quid, you'll be, on the top of my Christmas card list.
Did you do your lottery ticket, mate? Because you wouldn't have to need a couple of quid there.
Yeah, I've done the lottery ticket, and I promise you, if I win, you will be
Be responsible and take accountability for your own.
Well, Mike, I'll tell you what. If I do win, I promise you that the card I'll send you is beautiful.
Let's go back to that. Sorry.
Yeah.
I promise you. Can I edit that? I promise you I won't be here for next week's podcast.
Nick, can you
Right.
click that up, Nick?
Yeah,
Nick, can you click that up?
absolutely. I'm definitely clicking that up. Definitely.
Yeah, take everything else out and we just have that.
It's just at the
As a
beginning,
start line.
I
As a
won't be
start
here
line,
for
yeah.
next week. That's it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's in your head. And you need to keep it there, but I couldn't. I just let it out. I'm sorry. I just, like the Joker said in that film, I just do things.
Well, no comment. I'm saying nada.
Yeah.
But no, I can see what you're saying on that. And Mike, if you got another take on that yourself.
You know, I mean, I concur. Like, I've been incredibly lucky, and I'm incredibly grateful for where I am in life. Do you know what I mean? Could things be different? Certainly, but it could be a lot worse as well. But you know, professionally, I've always kind of thought to myself, Jack, do you know what I mean? You know, for me, the buck stops with me in a way. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I've worked for some really good managers and some not so good ones. But in terms of my own professional development, I've always tried to kind of take ownership for that, really. So if I was lacking in a particular area, you know, I was quite not forceful, but I would try to make that happen for myself. Do you know what I mean? And even probably doing stuff that initially there was no reward for, you know, within organisations to kind of get, but the reward I knew in the back of my head was going to come later, you know, in terms of getting into management and leadership roles, you know, I'm not a graduate and things like that, so I had to do things a slightly different way. So I had to kind of do sort of some shadowing and some training and some lots of different things within organisations to kind of build up my skill set and to kind of build trust within organisations to be given an opportunity. All right. So there are many ways to do it, do you know what I mean? But I think, you know, it's really, really important, I think, personally, to kind of take control of that. So, yeah, you can get, you know, we've talked about mentors and this and that and the other, which is really, really great. And I think that's a really good way to do it. But I think you need to own that and be accountable and take control of your own development, because you can develop in so many different ways, professionally, privately, and all the rest of it, you know.
Exactly.
But grab that and you navigate that and have a bit of a plan in terms of the direction and the outcome you want to try and achieve. So, but yeah, I think it's a wonderful thing, to be honest, and it really, that's what kind of keeps me excited, to be honest, about, you know, trying to be a better version of me, because I ain't competing against somebody else. I'm only competing against myself. And I want to be a better friend, a better brother, whatever. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to do. And at 50 something, I'm not going to give my age away, you know, I'm still learning.
Yeah.
I'm still, you know, those blind spots that we make a reference to, which I'm not going to go on here. I'm working on those because they're still there.
Yeah.
You know, so that's where I'm at with it. You know, I'm a big advocate of personal development.
And if you don't mind me saying, it's just a bit like what we just said a minute ago. I know you said it, Mike, and I spoke about it earlier. It's if somebody is looking to, and we're all looking, I would imagine, I can't see anyone saying, I don't want to improve. I haven't met any human being says, I don't want to get better at something. And it's just at that point finding, okay, and just exploring with that person, in what area? In what part of your existence do you want to improve?
Absolutely.
And then just kind of lasering on that. You know, and I just wish anyway. Sorry, Anthony, you go, sir, because I'm aware of time. You said to give you a reminder,
celebrating one's own gifts as well. I think that's really important.
Nice.
As well. I think we should do that big time. Yeah.
I think I'm just going to lastly say myself. I just think listening to you two guys, I mean, it is inspiring as well. It makes me realize, you know, well, what I've been doing, you know, other people are doing, because sometimes going back to that thing you said, some people are just not aware that they need to improve. You know, some people they just moan about life. They could complain about everything, and then you look at them, and you think, so you know what? We have one of the best opportunities in many, many years, because we have information at our fingertips. You know, one of the subjects we talk about AI and so forth like that. We have everything on this.
100%.
You can pick up a course on literally anything to do with self-development. So when I say people say, I just can't, or I don't know how, I just say to them, have you got a phone? Right. I can say, go to a site called Udemy where you have courses. Are you on LinkedIn? Right.
Yeah.
You have LinkedIn courses. You can go on YouTube. You can go on anything you want,
100%.
and you can learn. And I just think today there is really no excuse for not wanting to be how do I say? What is the subject we were talking about?
Self-development.
Self-development. You
Yeah.
can't say there is no avenues for that. There is. It's constant. But I just think right now we are in a privileged position to do that because one, when I look at all of us, we're all aware of what we need to do.
Yeah.
And if we're aware of it and we know other people, we can say to them, guys, you can do it. I can say, look at you, you can do it. I'm so I actually do get inspired because I look at you, Nick, and I think, look what you've developed. Look what you are. I know what you are, but you are that. I look at you, Michael. I know what you do, but you are that. And where did you start? Where did you both start?
Yeah.
You didn't start that place. You've developed yourself to become who you are now. And here we are on this platform talking to people and letting them know that they can do the same.
Nice. Yeah.
No, that's really good. Really, really
So,
good.
shall we wrap this up then, guys?
Yeah,
time?
and listen, it's my fault, and I apologise. It's just that there's been a few bits going on which I need to go and attend to. So I really appreciate you guys doing this, and Anthony, thank you for basically running the show today. Do appreciate it.
Really well. It pains me to say you've done an excellent job, sir.
Yeah, I know, but you want to know what happened to research I did before I came here?
Yeah.
It's just not all me.
Yeah.
Self-development again.
Yes.
But no, Nick, I mean, we'll be back. Hopefully, will he be back next week? We really hope so.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of. I'm speaking to him as much as I can, like on a daily basis. And all I will say to you is, we will keep each other. Us guys will keep each other like posted on how he's doing. Yeah, and it just when he feels ready, when he feels okay, and then he'll be back. And I would imagine your comments about Liverpool last week, I would imagine, are not forgotten. He's got a long memory.
Who commented last week?
Well,
Yeah,
you two.
no, but we were right for a change. No,
Well,
as
who am
you
I?
said.
Well, I don't know. We can go back over the footage. I don't know what was said last week.
I kind of
Yeah.
get a point, but it's not very often that Tottenham and Arsenal agree on something. But I think this is one time we did.
No, we do. And Man United supporters, they don't often agree with Liverpool. But I mean, obviously they have on here.
No.
Let's listen. Can I just say, I was defending my friend, not Liverpool Football Club. I was defending my friend. He's not able to come and defend himself, and you two, if you don't mind, took some cheap shots, which doesn't surprise me. You support Tottenham and Arsenal.
That's the best time. Get them down. Get them when they're down.
That's a typical Tottenham man
Get 'em
talking.
when they're down, not when they're up.
Yeah. So, but listen, the last thing I want to add is it's just to anybody who's watching this, because Mike, we was talking about this, and in fact, all three of us have had this conversation. We're going to have times during this podcast kind of experience that we're doing where there's going to be some points where, what do we do here? How do we build this? How do we build this? So the one thing I do want to say is, anyone that is watching it, and I haven't spoken to you two about this, and I haven't spoken to Winston about this, get in touch if you want to get on here and get involved.
Ooh.
And also, if there's subjects, Anthony's mentioned this a couple of times, if there's subjects that you want addressed, that you would like, because I think we're trying to find out our balance here. And I think part of it, we want to almost be like a fly on the wall, as a few mates just having a chat. And then there's the other element of it where actually we want to bring in some stats. We want to bring in some real statistics and real facts about these. And it's finding that balance. And I think that's what we're going through, that transition now. Would you agree or disagree with that? What do you think?
I agree.
No, that's fair to say.
Yeah?
It's fair to say.
So,
But audience, viewer participation, I think that would be really interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, because I just like viewpoints.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. So if
I think-
anyone's sorry, Anthony, go for it. Sorry, sir.
No, lastly, I was going to say the best way for self-development is to be challenged.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
if you're
I agree.
surrounded by,
I
I'm not
agree.
saying that we're all yes
Yeah.
men amongst each other,
Yeah.
but sometimes it's nice to have somebody that says, no, I don't agree. I got stats on that. Good, because
Yeah.
it's always good to get another.
We might
side
learn
of
something.
it.
You,
And
you
we
know
might
what I mean?
learn
I think
something.
I don't mind that.
Absolutely.
Cool.
We'll probably
You-
learn a lot.
Yeah.
You two have got a lot to learn. Anyway,
Oh,
peace,
Here we go.
peace and love to all everyone watching this. Peace and love to
Peace
you
and
guys.
love.
Anthony, thank you, sir. See you soon.
Take
What's
care.
all these gizmos, by the way? But anyway, we'll leave that.
We'll leave that alone.
Yeah.
Take care.
Take
Bye.
care.
Take care.